Breath of the Wild, an incredibly high-rated game, a game that took my spot for my favourite Zelda game of all time, stealing it from Majora's Mask. But what makes this game so great is its amazing use of exploration and discovery, starting right from the beginning of the game, with the best tutorial I have ever seen. Link wakes up from the Shrine of Resurrection. The game shows some basic controls at the bottom of the screen and has you use them for basic tasks. You then get outside of the cave to a beautiful opening shot of the world. And you are off. The game subtly leads you to talk to the old man, and Zelda gives you some guidance shortly after towards your objective. But along the way, you'll find a stick. You'll pick it up and the game says, Y to attack. Done. You pick up another weapon and the game says, do this to quick switch. Done. In the past, Zelda games have made you do these things so you knew how exactly it worked. But Nintendo realized, why should we care? Just tell them to press Y to attack, and they'll do it and see how it works for themselves. They teach themselves to survive out here. You activate the towers, the old man gives you some direction, and you do the 4 shrines on the plateau. Each of these 4 shrines gives you a new rune ability, and makes you solve some puzzles so you know the basics of it. But getting to the shrines is a challenge on its own. The first one is a given, but one is guarded by decayed guardians that can one-shot you. One is above a cliff face that you need to use ledges to climb up and rest on, and the other is atop Mount Hyrule, which is a cold area, and as such you will need to find a method of reaching it without freezing to death. The game will give you enough information to figure out what is going on, but not too much so that it feels satisfying to figure out how to overcome it. Even then, the plateau is still quite large, and I spent a few hours on it before finishing it simply because there was still lots to do there. Once you beat the 4 shrines, you get the paraglider. You get told press X mid-air to use it. The game gives you some simple instructions to your next main quest objective, and then goes, good luck, have fun. The game had only been loosely holding your hand at this point, but now it lets go and drops you into this harsh world of a post-apocalyptic Hyrule. You could go to your main quest objective, or you could go anywhere else you please. Once you're off the plateau, you can go anywhere in Hyrule. There are no artificial barriers to stop you, which is the reason the 4 starting shrines gave you your rune abilities to start with. You can even climb almost any wall, as long as you have enough stamina to scale it. The only thing that will get in the way of you going anywhere you want is the harsh environment itself. Early game, you'll still likely run into rather strong enemies. The first tower you'll probably see is the Central Tower, which looks like a good first tower to go for, until you realize it's swarming with guardians, except these ones can actually chase you. But, while you aren't strong enough to take them on, you can still manage to get past them, and I did. The Central Tower was my first tower, reminding me of the freedom that I had. You can take the path that'll lead you to a place, or you could take a different route, approaching it from any angle. The game simply does not care how you accomplish it. Wherever you go and however you get there is the right way to go and the right way to get there. No matter where you go, the world is filled with interesting stuff and secrets. You can find more shrines beyond the Great Plateau, and they are all bite-sized dungeons that you can find. Beating these rewards you with spirit orbs, which can be used to increase your hearts or stamina for every 4 you get. some shrines are also hidden and require a puzzle in the overworld to be solved to reveal it. There are also tons of Koroks. Some are easy to spot, but others are a lot better hidden. Finding a Korok gives you a Korok seed, which most players find out early on can be used to increase the size of your inventory. Not only do shrines and Koroks give you useful rewards, but they reward you for paying attention to the world itself and exploring. The game doesn't even care if you solve a shrine in an unintentional way. You still solved it by being smart, so why should the game care? Try to make your way to a main quest objective without getting distracted by other interesting things you'd find along the way. Seriously, the game does have fast travel, but I often found myself not using it just because of how much fun I had encountering things along my travels and paying attention to the world and trying to find secrets. Trying to get from one place to another is absolute hell when there are tons and tons of things to get distracted and get you off task. You'll find yourself going off and fighting enemies 2 hours later and forgetting what you were supposed to be doing. Exploration is also a challenge. Different environments have different temperatures, requiring you to use methods to combat it. Not only that, but some things will change in the game's mechanics depending on the environment. You then have to learn to adapt to these changes and learn to survive in harsh environments.
Don't we pray? I get some good meat out of this one. Oh yeah, that's how you hunt. Now, collect my prize. Oh look, an enemy encampment. Maybe I should snipe them with some bomb arrows here.
Weather can also affect this. Rain makes surfaces slippery and harder to climb. When a thunderstorm happens, lightning is attracted by metal items, requiring you to unequip them or else get struck by lightning. But if you take some time to think, it's not all bad. You can cook meat in the burning air of Death Mountain. Shield surfing is a lot more slick on wet soil, in the snow and in the desert. Or throw a Lysol boomerang in a storm with the correct timing and you can control the lightning. You need to learn to not only survive the harsh environments, but you can also learn to adapt to them. The game also has its own physics engine, which isn't just with gravity, but other subtle mechanics that just make sense and make the world that much more believable. So one time I heard that being dripping wet makes you fireproof for a short moment, and then I heard that you can make enemies dripping wet using choo-choo jellies, causing them to create shockwaves when hit by shock attacks. And then I was like, wait. Oh my god, I'm a genius! Weapons in this game don't exactly last long. They don't take much time at all to break and you need to move on to the next one. While this may seem stupid to some people, it just makes you have to eventually adapt to other weapon types you aren't familiar with. The game never teaches you how spears and heavy weapons work, but eventually all your one-handed weapons will break and you will end up learning yourself how these weapons work. Another thing that happens to you in this game a lot is the game over screen. You will die a lot, and often you will get killed in rather creative ways. Getting bombed out of nowhere, scared by a piece of meat, getting eaten by a giant sandfish, the Hulong dragon, be horrible with safety, backflip fail, and me just being dumb. But none of these deaths feel unfair. I never got frustrated by them. You only go back by a couple of minutes at best when you die, so the game lets you learn from your own deaths, and eventually, learn to kill enemies in creative ways. Boulder! Boulder and bombs. Bomb, balloon, and leaf. Mexican food. Nacho! MLG horse. Have some treasure. Metal Gear Zelda. Fear me! Fear me! Sneak 100. Or just have them die themselves, whatever, I don't care. But one of the most interesting and revolutionary parts of this game was Hyrule Castle, where the final boss, Calamity Ganon, lies. As soon as you leave the Great Plateau, you can go there, and you can reach him, and you can beat him, and you can see the ending in the credits. But of course, it's swarmed with high-level enemies and guardians, which are very hard to get past, let alone beat early game without proper equipment. Even if you sneak past them, good luck with Ganon. But it's still possible. And as of now, the current record for Breath of the Wild any percent speedrun is 31 minutes and 6 seconds. Breath of the Wild is truly a masterpiece, but it didn't just take inspiration from other open worlds, but it also took inspiration from the original Zelda. They even created a prototype for Breath of the Wild using NES sprites. They found what made the original so great and built upon that. Breath of the Wild uses the joy of exploration and discovery. It encourages you to explore with all the things you can see around the world and rewards you for discovering things with useful rewards. It's not just restricted to the world of Hyrule itself, but the mechanics of the game. You can explore the mechanics, experiment, and find actually useful or fun mechanics all on your own, rather than the game relying on tutorials to tell you all about this stuff. If you haven't played this game, play it. There is a reason it got Game of the Year 2017. Thanks for watching. Thanks for watching. This was a break from the normal TF2 content that I did, and I might do some more other non-TF2 related stuff in the future, but I'll still mostly stick to TF2. But hey, this was a very fun video to make, and I enjoyed it. Thanks guys, and bye.